Husband said I have 2 months to quit my job or get a divorce. My husband and I have been married 15 years and have 3 kids, middle school. We've had an okay relationship and I was a Sam for over 12 years. New Year's of 2022, Hubs paid to have a man he met on the internet fly over from Europe and live with us for 2 weeks. The guy was a scammer and there was a lot of lying involved on both their parts. I felt unsafe the whole time he was here and ended up emotionally shutting down. We had already been having a shaky relationship for a couple of years, yelling, belittling, sleeping in separate rooms, and this was just the nail in the coffin. I simply couldn't trust my husband anymore. He would put us in danger because he wouldn't think out the consequences. I also found that he didn't learn and started talking to others on WhatsApp and Snapchat. Anyway, to better myself, I got a job. Kids didn't need me at home anymore and I needed a resume in case I needed to move out due to more stupid/dangerous choices. I got a job with a friend, M45, part-time/minimum wage. Hubs and I were mostly getting along okay, but he and friend always seemed annoyed with each other. I ended up really liking my job and being really good at it. Friend was able to make me full-time by working weekends. After a couple of months of that, Hubs got mad. Awful phone calls to me and my boss. We're sleeping in separate rooms. We're in therapy. He's constantly yelling about divorce. He's convinced I'm cheating on him. He told me I have 2 months to quit my job and get a different one or the marriage is over and I have to move out. Obviously that's manipulative. I'm not going to quit my job for this. But I do feel bad/am afraid people will think I'm picking my job over my husband. Even if I get a different job, I'm pretty sure leaving is the answer. Right? TLDR husband wants me to quit my job to prove I love him. Edit. Wow, that's a lot of comments. I'm getting to them. For some clarification. Guy from Eastern Europe, husband is from the same country this guy is, claimed to have businesses and money and some job to do with airplanes and was claiming that he was coming to US for a job within the same company. I guess, the story shifted a lot. What I got out of it was that husband was trying to use him for money and/or labor. I'm certain wasn't a thing, but 2 incredibly dishonest and greedy dudes. I got the job to get money and bide my time. Friend my boss. He lives in the same town and his kids is friends with my kid. Husband actually pushed for me to get this job at the beginning and sent friend a ton of text messages to get me hired. Friend finds him obnoxious. I was working Tuesday, Wed, Thursday. When friend/boss found out about the situation, he gave me shifts, Friday or Sat, and Sunday, so right around 40 HRS per week, not 7 days straight. The additional shifts do involve working a bar, so yes, I'm working late on those nights. I don't love that part, but it's extra cash. Turning my regular during the week job into full-time, on Friday, is in the works, but takes time. I haven't moved out because I financially cannot. Comment. I honestly thought this comment was going to end with an/s. You mean to tell me this is a thing? Like a common enough thing that there's a whole format and targeted age demographic to it? Oh my gosh. Guys in their 40s, not me. I still have a few weeks to go, stuck in the same job they were at 30 and thought they'd be swimming in money by now. They daydream about a lake house, a fancy car, etc., and suddenly someone offers them an entrepreneurial money guaranteed endeavor and they jump on it. Read her previous post. It's unsettling. The friend seemed to be quite a lot younger. Hubby kept buying him things and this friend kept picking up and tickling their 9-year-old son, who he'd never met. This is what weirded out Up. Mama's instincts were alerted, I think. I don't think it was a scam at all. That's just what this awful husband told her. As Up put in her post, she got a job for the sale of leaving. I don't think people realize how hard it is to leave, and that's just financially speaking. There's really not a lot of support for those in DV situations, and this is DV. Financial and emotional abuse is legally counted as DV. Statistically speaking, women are most likely to be killed when they're leaving. Not to mention, how is she going to afford to leave? Just because they're marital assets doesn't mean that they're readily available. Especially if the other party hired a good lawyer. She did the right thing by getting a job and making preparations to leave. Oh, I understand it very well. Been there, done that, actually without even having steady work and with a very young child. But she needs to talk to a lawyer and get a much better handle on how a divorce actually works in her area. It sounds like she is not being proactive and she is just standing watching strange men in her house touching her kids. It's not okay, what she is doing either. And yes, some stealth would probably be a very good idea here. It's actually funny, being from Eastern Europe and living in the US, I didn't question that part at all. It's not uncommon for people from your country to find you online and see that you live in America and make a proposition along the lines of, I have a lot of money I made in home country and am trying to take my business to the next level by coming to America and just need help getting started. There always seem to be issues with the money though, and I've known a fair share of people get taken advantage of that way, because my country is small and there is the sense of brotherhood, and naive, or greedy, people tend to fall for that stuff. I was actually warned to watch out for it by family members when moving here. Next story 2. My 39F husband 41M let his friends exclude me yesterday and I'm now realizing how spineless he is. How do I save a marriage of 16 years? I wasn't going to post, but I feel like there's a bigger problem brewing, so I'll just dive into it. A little context, my husband's friend group has been playing baseball together for years. They all work together at a restaurant, they all have huge drinking problems, and they all play sports together. Honestly, baseball has been a sore point for me for most of this time because for years he dedicated his only free day to spend with his friends instead of his family. We have 2 kids. I also recognize that it's like the only thing he seems to enjoy doing regularly, so I mostly keep my mouth shut about it and let him have his much needed social time with friends. That's what you're supposed to do, right? I did strain his relationship with his friends a few years ago when I asked them not to let him drive home drunk anymore after he came home so inebriated that he fell down the stairs 3 times. He was pretty silently mad about that. He's wrecked 2 cars this way, wrapping himself around telephone poles, and I don't need to get into his alcohol issues. I know it's a problem, but he no longer works at a restaurant and no longer drinks and drives. So I've quieted my bitching about it and he continues his drinking at home. Fast forward to this year. One friend is very pregnant and can no longer play baseball. So they had me sub in for a few games this month. At my first game I did really well and they were all super thrilled and I got lots mad, "We'll take your wife over you if we have to pick between you," and lots of fist bumping and positive comments. The next 2 games I was terrible. No positive comments or fist bumps, but I still had fun. I was even considering joining the team next year B/C. It was a lot of fun. I haven't played in 10 years and I know I'm not very good, but I could get better with practice. We lost a shot at first place in the playoffs last week and I feel a little bit like they might blame me. I messed up 2 plays and didn't get on base once. They are super competitive about their baseball, like they are actually a-holes to other teams and each other in their competitiveness. My hubby is the pitcher and they are constantly blaming him when they don't get on base, pitch to your own team, and telling him he sucks. Yeah, these guys are toxic, but they are his only friends and it's not my job to choose his friends. Yesterday was the playoff game and we show up all ready to play. One of the girls, let's call her Lucy, reads off the batting order and I'm not in it, so I say, "What about me?" and she tells me that they don't actually need me for the game and her and one of the other girls don't want to sit any innings so they don't want me to play. Strangely, this actually really hurt, and my eyes start to burn with tears, so I retreat to the bench to let the moment pass. My husband comes up and I say to him that I'm not allowed to play and he says, "Who told you that?" I nod towards Lucy, still trying to fight the tears that are pricking my eyes. I'm wearing sunglasses, but I'm very pale, so my face is definitely red. He says nothing and grabs a beer out of his bag, then continues to stand there saying nothing. I'm trying to play a game on my phone to distract myself, but I can't get over it. He heads onto the field with his beer to pitch. I end up grabbing the dogs and leaving to get a coffee and calm down. I cried for almost 45 minutes and debated making my husband find his own way home. I had his cell phone and wallet in the car, so it would have been a chore. I was so hurt he didn't say anything to Lucy about my playing. I come back to pick him up and he continues to hang around on the bench, forcing me to get the dogs out of the car and walk them both around the diamond and over to get him. The group is going out to a restaurant to end the season and he asks if I want to go or if I just want to go home. Ouch. I suggest I can drop him off if he wants to go with his friends, but I want to go home. He comes home with me. We say not a word the entire car ride home. I'm so hurt and angry and disappointed. I expected him to say something to her, and failing that I expected an apology that his friends did that to me, or an attempt at making it up to me, or really just anything. He goes to bed almost immediately. Then I have a light bulb moment. It's like a high-mem glass shatter sound effect goes off and I realize how spineless my husband is. He doesn't stand up to his parents when they bully his brothers or me or our kids. He won't advocate for himself at work when he gets screwed over. We don't fight. I used to think it was because we got along really well, but I now realize it's that he avoids conflict at all costs. It's left me feeling really disgusted with him and it's lowered my respect of him dramatically. Alright, that's the backstory. I spent a very restless night and woke up exhausted this morning. I still feel so hurt and also so disgusted with all of the other stuff I've come to realize about how spineless he is. I feel a little bit like my expectations of him are too high, but at the same time I feel like he is failing every aspect of being a partner. But partnerships are two-sided and I'm also a very closed book. We don't communicate well, we each do our own thing and just seemingly coexist, with kids. It's not the first time I've thought about how unsupportive he is. I suggested therapy and I know I can drag him, but it'll be just that, me dragging an unwilling participant. His catchphrase is "it's fine." I think I might just finally be hitting the end of my rope and I don't know where to go from here. How do I get back to seeing him as someone I can respect and be a partner to? Right now I just want to throw him out of the house. That won't accomplish anything, and throwing him out over a baseball game seems ridiculous, but it feels kind of straw on the camel's back-esque right now. I know he's just going to come home and get drunk and not talk about it again tonight. Am I being an a-hole here? Comment. This post is quite sad to me. It reads as, "Yeah, my husband is an alcoholic who neglects our kids and hangs out exclusively with toxic assholes, but what can ya do? Your expectations are not too high, they are shockingly low. This isn't about a baseball game, it's about the fact that you are pretty clearly miserable with this dude and gritting your teeth because familiarity, kids, fear of being alone? I'm not sure, but I suggest getting therapy for yourself so you can build up the courage to either completely overhaul your marriage, which will only work if he's willing to stop drinking and put in massive effort to be a better partner, or leave. I would recommend therapy for your kids as well. Growing up in a home with an alcoholic is a very damaging home life and you're teaching them what a healthy relationship is supposed to look like. Driving drunk once should have gotten you 90% of the way to seeking divorce. Twice is just beyond unforgivable. On top of being a massive asshole, your husband is a danger to those around him. I don't care if he stopped. He actively risked the lives of other people. You're lucky he's never hurt anyone but himself, or you'd have a very different problem. None of your husband's alleged good qualities make this worth it. If you stay with him, you've co-signed everything he's ever done. Please, want more for yourself than this. It is actually sad that he chooses baseball over family. Stop making excuses for him and start drawing the lines. Communicate and tell him that he needs to give the family more priority. He is 41, he cannot be this reckless now, he needs to start taking you seriously. If he still chooses to not change, leave with the kids.